Hello, citizens of the world, brothers and sisters of Israel. This is Brother Lawrence coming at you with another end time update. In this report, we're going to be going over a lot as usual. We're going to be discussing the events in the world and how they may not be what it seems. Well, nothing is what it seems. In fact, everything is a lie. Just like the scriptures tell us that the devil who deceived the whole world, he didn't deceive some of the world. He didn't deceive part of the world. He deceived the whole world, right? And how does he deceive? By lying, right? Everything is a lie. So as you see here, what I have on the screen is the Forum of Young Global Leaders, right? And what this is, basically is an organization who was founded by yours truly, Crush Rub, right? The founder of the Forum of the Young Global Leaders. You know, you see, you have all these beautiful members and the World Economic Forum, right? The Forum of the Young Global Leaders is an initiative of the World Economic Forum. And this is their fearless leader, Crush Rub, right? You know, who also wrote books, you know, like The Great Reset. And as you see right here, he's wrote, you know, COVID-19, The Great Reset. You know, it was even on Time Magazine. Right here, The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab. Right here, I don't know if you can see that, by Klaus Schwab, top right corner right there. So, you know, and to have this book on, you know, this title, right, The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab, to have his book on Time Magazine, pretty big player right here, wouldn't you say? You know, the same Time Magazine that told you the end was near with Trump and Hillary, who were supposed to be going against each other in that presidential election, by the way, but now they're taking pictures together like it's kumbaya and everything's all good. That's why you see Hillary in the white and Donald Trump in the darker color suit. You know, that's not coincidental. The black and white, or, you know, checkerboard, you know, you see it everywhere. Hillary was supposed to go to prison, you know, remember all that, but they're taking pictures and stuff like everything is sweet because it's all a lie. They're all in bed with each other. All of these characters that you see, they're in bed with each other, right? So, you know, they're not against each other. They're not enemies or anything like that. They're all in bed together, right? Now, again, so this brings us back to right here. The Young Global Leaders, right? Well, what is the Young Global Leaders, Lawrence? Well, the Young Global Leaders is what the World Economic Forum uses to handpick and groom young children, right? Since they were young, and put them in positions of power, and so they can be the ones pulling their strings when they grow up, and they put them in these positions of power. They now control them in their country's government, right? So that's the purpose of the Young Global Leaders. And the Economic Forum is where all the puppets and their controllers gather to go over their plans on bringing about the Great Reset, right? And again, what is the Great Reset? You know, Lawrence, what's the Great Reset? Well, the Great Reset is basically bringing us out from the old world order, because we're already in the one world government. You know, I'm sorry to burst that little bubble wide open, but we're not separate entities. We're not separate countries who cooperate with each other to try to maintain the human species, right? That's not how this operates. It's all these countries are controlled by the devil himself. And a lot of people just simply don't believe that, but you know, we'll go over more of that as time goes on, right? But that's what all of this is. All these clowns are in bed with each other, and they're groomed for these positions since they were kids, you know, handpicked, like, you know. And again, that brings me to this next, you know, shifting gears. You have the conflict that's occurring right now between Russia and Ukraine, right? Between Vladimir Putin, right, and Volodymyr Zelensky. I think that's how you say his name, right? They have similar names here. But have you ever wondered where Putin came from, where Zelensky came from? More specifically, Zelensky. Well, I'm here to tell you that he was handpicked by Obama himself after they ran out the old Ukrainian president. They went in Ukraine and they put Zelensky in there as the president. But what did Zelensky do before that? How was he so cool with Obama and the United States government? How was he able to get picked by Obama to get that position? What did Zelensky do before? Well, let me show you.
Could this man be Ukraine's next president?
Добрый вечер. Знаете, я сразу хочу сказать, у нас сегодня просто концерт, никакой агитации. Все по-честному, вы ж деньги заплатили. Такое еще мир не видел.
Chic is Volodymyr Zelensky's trademark. He and his troupe, Kvartal 95, are famous for mocking the political elite. So during the election campaign, the comedian simply stuck to his day job and went on tour. The formula works especially well among young people.
A good sense of humor is a sign of intelligence. None of our politicians ever makes a funny joke, unless you think our ridiculously low wages are some kind of joke.
Ukrainians are the lowest paid workforce in Europe, but their politicians are often inexplicably wealthy thanks to corruption. Zelensky channeled the nation's rage into his TV series Servant of the People, where he plays a fictional everyman president.
How come someone earning a school teacher's salary can't even afford a modest apartment in Kiev, while you guys, who are supposed to work for the people, live in luxurious mansions? Maybe you've made a mistake and you're serving the wrong master. Instead of the people, you're serving the oligarchs.
But that's fiction. The real-life Zelensky is himself a wealthy businessman with ties to Igor Kolomoisky, an oligarch who's suspected of a multi-billion-dollar bank fraud.
So, as you just saw right here, the real Zelensky, who in this fake show, who played, Zelensky was a comedian who played the role of the president of Ukraine, right, in this show, and then later on became the president of Ukraine. You see, the devil has a funny way. He has a sense of humor too, right? And the devil has to be laughing his ass off right here at the fact that he's able to trick the people of the world to this degree, right? Because the people of the world are just, they've been demoralized, beat down. They're not, they're genetically modified, fluoridated water, vaccinated up, filled up with animal DNA and all kind of other stuff. I mean, the people are just beat down, man. And they just don't really have a sense of, they're not grounded. They don't have a sense of reality and what's going on. They only know what the TV tells them, right? Who is controlled by Satan himself, right? Look up any TV network and you'll see that the largest shareholders in these companies are either BlackRock, Vanguard, or State Street. These are the three biggest shareholders in just about every single company. Then these companies are owned by the devil. Well, most companies are owned by the devil, so that shouldn't be surprising. Let's go on to the next clip right here.
Василий Петрович Голобородько? Да. Доброе утро, господин президент.
Привет, как дела? Серьезный день, ребята. Как настроение? Класс? Це не фейк, і я дуже серйозно відношусь до нашої країни, до життя кожної людини. И вот здесь, понимаешь, теперь, они заставляют детей в будки ваши строить. Знаешь, почему у нас жизнь собачья? Да потому что мы свой выбор с тобой начинаем в будках. Понятно? А выбирать-то не из кого. Из двух пи***цев выбираем меньше. И так 25 лет подряд. Ты знаешь, что это? Да, при решении этого вопроса будет учитываться специфика. Уважаемые журналисты, я прошу прощения, я не готов к этой пресс-конференции.
But in reality, this president is actually quite corrupt and he sold out his people. That's how he was able to get that chair in the first place. So let's go. I have one more clip for you. Hold on, just 1 second. Check out your boy Zelensky. Right, Zelensky is the second one to the left. Right, check out your boy Zelensky.
Well, I caught my wife with another man, and it cost me 99. On a prison farm in Georgia, close to the Florida line. Well, I've been here for 2 long years. I finally made the warden my friend. And so he sentenced me to a life of ease, taking care of old Red. Now, old Red, he's the damnedest dog that I've ever seen. Got a nose that can smell a 2-day trail. He's a 4-legged tracking machine. You can consider yourself mighty lucky to get past the gators and the quicksand beds. But
all right, enough of that. All right, so you get the gist of what's taking place right here. This is the president of Ukraine. This is the leader of Ukraine right here, right? And as you saw the guy in that trance style, that Indian guy holding up the 666. Let's go back and see if we can see that real quick. Hold on.
he's taking care of old Red. Now, old Red, he's the damnedest dog that I've ever seen. Got a nose that can smell a 2-day trail. He's a 4-legged tracking machine. You can consider yourself mighty lucky.
As you see him right there holding up the 666, and I was like, oh God, I gotta watch this crap again. Lord, just to get to this. Okay, as you see, he's holding up the 666 in his high heels like a little girl and stuff like this. So this is the president of Ukraine, right? And obviously, it's an embarrassment, right? It's repulsive to the point, it's abominable to the point where you want to just throw up, right? All of these things you see are on TV are lies, right? And they've used pictures from old explosions and stuff that was captured, old explosions from long ago, and they're using the same explosions, and they're trying to pass them off as what's going on in Ukraine right now. Right, they did the same thing a long time ago with Turkey on CNN. They had a play of a war going on. They used the footage from this play and tried to pass it off as real footage of real shooting and stuff going on in Turkey. Right, the news media lies. You cannot trust the news media because if you cut on the TV and they're moved and you see them moving their mouth, what are they doing? They're lying. Okay. Now we're gonna go on to this next one right here. Now this is a movie. I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it's called Wag the Dog. Right? And they tell you the truth in movies all the time. Right? Movies, music videos, television, directly from the mouths of politicians and stuff. The devil has to tell you the truth, right? Because that's the universal law. He has to tell you the truth, but he tells you the truth in different ways, right? Sometimes he tells you directly the truth, right? But you just don't know because there's so many lies. You have to comb through all the lies and backtrack everything to make sure it's true, right? But in this movie, I'm digressing. In this movie, they tell you how much war is actually theater, how it's not real, all right? This is the movie called Wag the Dog.
You're not kidding. I'm in show business, yes? Why come to me?
Well, I'll tell you why, Mr. Morse. 5445, what does that mean?
It's a slogan. It's from the...
Remember the Maine?
Yeah, that's from...
That's gotta be. Tippecanoe and Tyler, too.
No, that's not the...
They're war slogans, Mr. Morse. We remember the slogans, we can't even remember the fucking wars. You know why?
Why?
It's show business. That's why we're here.
I see.
Naked girl, covered in napalm. V for victory. 5 Marines raising the flag, Mount Suribachi. You remember the picture 50 years from now, you'll have forgotten the war. The Gulf War, smart bomb falling down a chimney, 2,500 missions a day, 100 days. One video of one bomb, Mr. Moss. The American people bought that war. War is show business. That's why we're here.
And what do you do for the president? Why Albania?
Why not?
They gotta know at some point.
Who?
Who? The public.
They gotta know?
Yes.
Stan, get with it. Who killed Kennedy? I read the first draft of the Warren report. It says he was killed by a drunk driver. You watch the Gulf War. What do you see day after day? The one smart bomb falling down a chimney. The truth? I was in the building when we shot that shot. We shot it in a studio, Falls Church, Virginia, 1/10 scale model of a building.
Is that true?
How the fuck do we know? You take my point?
Yes. All right. Okay. And you want...
So see, as you see in these movies, right, all these events that they rush to the TV to try to let you know that it's true and it's real. And, oh, just this in breaking news. They didn't bomb this. Oh, my goodness. We got to go to... See, that's to get the public, the sheep, behind a narrative so they can justify moving their plans forward, right? They justify taking more of your freedoms away, justifying locking you down, justifying mandates, justifying putting you in quarantine camps, right? That's what they do. That's why they come up with these events, right? Again, they justify these events, which is why they come up with these events, right? Because this is all, again, a plan to usher in the new world order, right? They just mentioned that on TV a couple days ago. Hold on, let's check that out. All right, let's check out this news clip from Fox News, as you see right here. It may be a little bit blurry, so sorry about that. Best quality I could get. All right, let's go ahead and play it.
The Baltic states, that would completely shape a new world order. And what kind of planning, aside from the day-to-day that's happening right now at the Pentagon, is going into thinking about that new reality?
A new world order.
Here's the next one.
Right now, it's a critical time because we know that we not only fight for Ukraine, we fight for this new world order for the democratic countries. We knew that we are the shield for the Europe. We fight for this new world order.
So as you see, they've already told you that they're fighting for this new world order, right? You know, that they're trying to usher in. So that's what this whole thing is about. Everything that you see, every resource that the devil spends is going towards this new world order. So in a new world order, ultimately, so he could come out and rule, the Antichrist. The devil comes out, rule, have absolute control because he knows his time is short because we are in the end days. The Bible tells the devil how much time does he get, right? The Bible doesn't say in Revelation that the devil gets 4.5 years, then 1.5 years, right, of power. It doesn't say 6.5 years and then 10.5 years. It doesn't say that the devil will get 3.5 years and 5.5 years. It does not say these things. The Bible was very specific on how much time the devil will have to rule, right? And he told you that he will have 2 42-month periods. 2 3.5-year periods. That's what 42 months is. 3.5 years. That's all the devil's going to get, right? So he has 7 years. And the Most High has already given us the warning of when that period of time was going to happen with the great American eclipses. He's told us already that this is the sign that he's going to give to us that marks the beginning of the Great Tribulation. And the Great Tribulation, according to this sign, is going to begin in 2024, right? So 7 years plus 2024 will land us about 2031, right? 2032, right? That's about the window of time that we can expect the Most High God to come back. Because you see, that's most people misinterpret no one knows the day or the hour. Duh. Right? That's obvious. No one knows the exact day. That's when the Most High says the day or the hour, that's being very trying to pinpoint when no one knows that. We can't pinpoint the exact moment the Most High comes, but he gave us a window. He gave us signs to look out for, to watch, so we'll know just about when it should be, right? So he's very specific, and we're getting really close to. That's why you're seeing the war happen, the fake war, but it's gonna turn into, it's a fake war, right? But the soldiers in this war, see, it's a war that is orchestrated by the people at the top, right? At the very top. And it's like a play, right? And there are people in the play who doesn't realize that it's a play, right? And they've been told that this is a narrative, right? This is that this is what they need to do. This is what's happening, and you need to do it. See, they're participating in something that they have no idea what it's about. Just like the Russian soldiers, there's reports of Russian soldiers getting captured by the Ukrainians, right? And the soldiers have no idea why they're even over there. They were told that it was a peacekeeping drill that they were conducting. And lo and behold, they've been thrown out there in a full-fledged war. See, they've been given orders, get told that they were going over there for something different than they were actually over there for, right? Because it's a lie, right? And you have people who participate in the lie unknowingly, knowing that they're a part of the lie, right? That's how this whole thing works. So let's go on to the next thing. All right, now going back to Mr. Schwab here, right? We're circling back to Mr. Klaus Schwab, right? The leader of the World Economic Forum, the leader of the founder of the Young Global Leaders. And you're going to listen to Mr. Schwab out of his own mouth tell you how they, tell you out of his own mouth the global leaders that he's groomed, right? That they have a part of this organization and what government's saying and how they get them in there. Check this out.
When I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina, too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. I'm with the president, who is a young global leader, but what is...
So as you saw right here, you heard Mr. Klaus Schwab himself say that they penetrated the cabinets, right? Not the pantries. Yes, they penetrated the cabinets. And you heard him say that, more than half of Trudeau's cabinet are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum, right? And he said this was true in Argentina, in France, in Germany, and you name it, they're everywhere, right? They're everywhere. Now let's go and take a listen, right, to something real quick. Now, right here in this clip, we're going to be going over what someone who when they heard Mr. Klaus Schwab say that more than half of Canada's cabinet has been infiltrated by the World Economic Forum, they were very concerned, as they should be. And when brought to the parliament to ask about these issues, this is what they did for them, right? Check this out.
The honourable member for Oshawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I listened to my colleague's speech. I had a constituent that wanted me to ask a question about outside interference to our democracy. Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he bragged how his subversive WEF, World Economic Forum, has, quoted, infiltrated governments around the world. He said that his organization had penetrated more than half of Canada's cabinet. I was wondering, in the interest of transparency, could the member please name which cabinet ministers are on board with the WEF's agenda? My concern is the deputy.
Order. I know he was. I know that the member was in a really good question there, but the audio is really bad, and the video is really bad as well. And I apologize. I don't know if the member. Okay, let's try again.
So as you saw right there, as soon as he was presenting with, okay, order here, let's not go into all of that. It was a good question, but we couldn't really hear what Klaus Schwab was saying. The microphone was going in and out. So, that's not very clear. It's not clear that he said that he penetrated half of the cabinets. Well, let's go back and listen to it again.
When I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. And that's
now, as you heard right there, that sounded pretty clear to me, right? What do you think? Half of the members. More than half of the members of Canada's cabinet are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Then he sat up real quick. You saw when he after he said it, he sat up like he just made a astounding statement, like a powerful statement by saying that, like, oh yeah, I hold the best record in such and such. And then I put my head up like I'm just the ish, right? That's what he just did right there. So. It was pretty clear to me, right, that, all of these countries and governments are controlled by Mr. Schwab and company, right? And when I say all of them are in bed, I mean all of them. As you see Mr. Biden right here greeting Mr. Schwab at the World Economic Forum, right? You have Mr. Biden again, having a jolly good laugh with Mr. Schwab right here. You got Putin, right? Who, we'll get to that in a second. We got Putin here. We got Zelensky, right? The president of Ukraine. We already went over him. President Xi from China, Xi Jinping. You have Donald Trump. Yeah, you got Donald Duck right here. A part of the club. He's not exempt from the club. Bill Clinton, not exempt from the club. Are you getting it yet? You got Macron, top left. That's the French president. To the right, top right, Boris Johnson, right under him. You have Ardiri that's New Zealand's prime minister, bottom right. Then on the bottom left, you have Trudeau of Canada. And that's, of course, King Schwab in the middle, right? You got Trudeau again right here. You got Merkel right here. This is the ex-prime minister of Germany. Then you have, Mr. Biden here again with Leonardo DiCaprio right here on the left-hand side. They're all puppets. They're all puppets. I don't care who your favorite celebrity is. They're all puppets, right? The Great Reset, yeah. So they're all puppets. Are you understanding now? Are you understanding now? Do you understand that this man right here, Klaus Schwab, dressed up looking like Darth Vader, right? He's the one who controls it all, right? He controls, well, he not just him, he's a part because he's married into the Rockefeller family. He's married into the Rothschilds, all the royal families at the top. So he himself is probably in direct communion with Satan himself. This man right here. And I know people think that that's crazy, that that's far-fetched, that Satan doesn't exist, right? But see, that's the greatest trick the devil ever pulled, was convincing the whole world that he doesn't exist when he does exist. That's the lie. You see. Now, what did Mr. Schwab, because he's come out, he's on record telling us a lot of the plans, right, that he has in store for us. But here's the interesting thing. Here's the next event, right, that, of course, with the war is a part of it too. That's a part of the new event. But here's the next event that's going to make COVID-19, according to Mr. Schwab, seem like a small disturbance, right? All right, you have Mr. Schwab right here in the background. You see the World Economic Forum on the left, and to the right, you see the Great Reset. This is Mr. Schwab telling you what's coming next, what you have to look forward to coming next, right?
We all know, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. To use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber
pandemic, right? So he's already told you what the next thing to look out for is, a cyber pandemic. And he says that COVID-19 will be nothing but a small disturbance, right? When, you lose access to transportation, hospital services, all power going down. And see, they've been telling us these things for a long time.
It's my brother. Benjamin, what's up? Listen to me very carefully. It's gonna turn off and it will never turn back on. What's gonna turn off? Everything. Ben? Miles. What the hell is going on?
So, what caused the blackout? Was it a solar flare, an electromagnetic pulse?
So as you see in this trailer to this TV show called Revolution back in 2014, they told you that the power was going to go off and that it was never going to come back on. But we have more examples. More recent example is a television show called 911 that talks about a power outage. You guessed it.
Los Angeles has joined the grim fraternity of cities held hostage by sophisticated hackers.
The city's been plunged into utter darkness,
So we're on our own.
Lost the hotel room. Hang on! This thing is holding up my track,
How is it that every time the world seems to end, it ends more?
Bye-bye. 911 season premiere, Mondays.
So, again, that's yet another television show telling you or programming you to get you ready for the upcoming cyber attack that's going to destroy our grid. And speaking of which, the other day, actually, I want to say maybe a week ago, or maybe less than that, a couple days ago, you had on 60 Minutes, right? All these establishment control networks, I get confused sometimes. But on 60 Minutes, they had on there talking about how the America's power grid is so vulnerable, right? And they even go over how to shut our power grid down. I kid you not, right? How to shut down America's most crucial infrastructure and more on 60 Minutes. Like, you would think I'm making it up, but I'm not making it up, right? Check this out.
Grid. One noted Russia has proven its ability to use cyber attacks to shut down electric grids. We've been looking at the grid for months, and we're surprised to learn how vulnerable it is. For 20 minutes, gunmen methodically fired at high-voltage transformers at the Metcalf Power Substation.
There were at least 4 or 5 different firing positions.
No real security.
There was no security at all. And they were doing this at night with muzzle flash in their face.
If they had succeeded, what would have happened?
Could have brought down all Silicon Valley.
We're talking Google, Apple, all these guys.
Yes, that's correct.
The grid is a sprawling target. There are actually 3 in the U.S., the Eastern, Western, and Texas has its own. But if several sections of the grid go down at the same time, the shutdowns can cascade like dominoes.
Shocking result to us that there's a very few number of substations you need to take out in the entire United States to knock out the entire grid.
Knock out the entire grid?
That's correct.
How many would it take to knock out, putting the entire country in a blackout?
Less than 20.
The report was leaked to the Wall Street Journal. It found the U.S. could suffer a coast-to-coast blackout if saboteurs knocked out just 9 substations. But many substations remain vulnerable targets, like this one we found in Southern California that serves more than 300,000 customers. Huge transformers protected by a chain-link fence.
Anybody who knows about...
Now, do you hear that? They said that these huge transformers, right, that serve hundreds of thousands of people is protected by a chain link fence. And somehow, some way, you're going to believe in your mind when the power goes out that it was not planned for decades upon decades upon decades, right? Right? Because they know it's the perfect plan. Get you hooked on the conveniences and the luxury of being able to just flip a switch and the lights come on, right? And then just pull the rug from under it, right? Because back in the day, my great grandfather, they lived in the country and they didn't have they had to use kerosene lamps. That's right. Kerosene lamps. They didn't have the luxury of just flipping a switch and then lights come on, right? Or turning a knob and water comes out of the faucet, right? They had to go to the well to get water. But many of you modern day folks are going to find out the hard way, right? That these modern day things that you have, these are luxuries. These are luxuries. These are not the norm right here, right? And contrary to popular belief, they want you to believe that this is going to just be forever, right? But while in the background, there's a tsunami of problems building up, and you're going to see now, which brings me on to the next clip. Let's just keep it going, right? I'm going to show you now a Super Bowl commercial that aired, I believe, in 2019. It's an Amazon commercial. Check this out. All right, check this out.
Let's reheat pasta. Reheating pasta.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, I didn't know you guys put Alexa in a microwave.
Yeah, we're putting her in a lot of stuff now. But trust me, there are a lot of fails.
Like what?
Like...
Alexa, play my podcast.
When you heard that, did that surprise you? That seems exciting.
We need an Alexa dog collar. 4 dogs.
Ordering dog food. Ordering dog
You
food.
can bark all you want. I'm not paying for any more dog food.
Ordering gravy. Ordering sausages.
Hey, you better cancel that order.
Alexa hot tub. A sucked.
Alexa, play music. Okay.
And then there was the incident.
Wait, that was you guys.
I don't know, was it?
Powering down. Powering up. Powering down.
She
Powering
says
down.
she's doing it, but I don't see anything. Do you? Holy.
You see, they've been telling you for a long time, over and over and over and over again. I could play another Super Bowl commercial, but I'm not going to do that, right? But you get the whole point, right? So, as you see right here, they've laid out the plan. They put this. See, we're supposed to be in a quote unquote heightened defense position right now because of the conflicts that's going on around the world. So, why would you put this type of information on the TV for all to see? Our most critical infrastructure, how to take it out if it was real, because it's not real, right? It's all a lie. Right. And this is what I'm trying to get you to see, that all of these things that you're seeing have been planned for a long time. Right. So, Lawrence, you didn't show me all this stuff. Right. So what's the end game? Right. What's the end game? Well, we already told you what the end game was. I already went over what the end game was for Satan to control and rule this new world order. Now, here is some of the plans or predictions for the world by 2030, brought to you by yours truly, Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum. Eight predictions. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Isn't that wonderful right there? You'll own nothing, but you'll be happy. They even got the guy smiling about it too. With the nice music in the background, right? Oops. Whatever. No, let's start that. Let's start that over. My bad. It says whatever you want, your rent, and it'll be delivered by drone. Right? How convenient. The U.S. won't be the world's leading superpower. Nope. A handful of countries will dominate the world, right? You won't die waiting on an organ donor anymore. We won't transplant organs. We'll just print new ones. Yeah! You'll eat much less meat. Right. An occasional treat, not a staple, for the good of the environment and our health, right? 1 billion people will be displaced by climate change, right? We're going to have to do a better job at welcoming immigrants and refugees from across the border. Right? Polluters will have to pay a carbon tax, right? A global carbon tax, right? You could be preparing to go to Mars. Right? Or we'll imprison you there. Scientists will have worked out how to keep you healthy, right? Western values would have been tested to the breaking point. Isn't all of these plans from the World Economic Forum is so wonderful, right? Isn't it so great that they have our best interests in mind, that they want to get rid of meat and take all of our stuff so we'll own nothing and be happy, right? Speaking of which, I went over in my last report, if you haven't watched it, I suggest you watch that report and the rest of my reports as well. But on that report in particular, I went over a document that a archbishop covered that talks about their plans for, the new COVID-21 that's supposed to be coming out and how they're going to take away your property, how you won't be able to own any property. Well, there was another document that I ran across the other day that's basically saying the same thing. They were put out around the same time. So this kind of confirms that, wherever the source of this information from is, you have two different sources saying the same thing now from the same time period. So from Canada, of all places. So without further ado, let's just go over that real quick. All right. Now you have the Canadian report, which goes on to say, is this leaked info really Trudeau's crazy COVID plan for 2021? You decide, right? As you see, this was leaked October the 10th, which is right around the same time. Well, the Archbishop put his report out towards the end of, he wrote Trump an open letter talking about the same information. But the reason why I'm going over this one is because there's some, different wording and stuff that I found very interesting that I want to go over. So I'm not going to talk about the beginning right here. This is one of the things I want to show you right here. The roadmap and aim was set out by the PMO and is as follows. This is all important, so I guess I'll read it. The number one thing, phase in secondary lockdown restrictions on a rolling basis, starting with major metropolitan areas, population centers, cities, first, and expanding outwards, expected by November 2020. Number two, rush the acquisition of or construction of isolation facilities, COVID camps, across every province and territory, expected by December of 2020. Daily new cases of COVID-19 will surge beyond capacity of testing, including increase in COVID-related deaths following the same growth curves expected by the end of November 2020. And that's exactly what we've seen. Inflated, arbitrary, lying numbers, right? Number four, complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first, and second rolling phase restrictions, expected by the end of December 2020 and early January 2021. And we have seen those things in Canada. Next one, reform and expansion of the unemployment program to be transitioned into the universal basic income program, expected by Q1 of 2021. And obviously that's not rolled out yet. So, but, because we haven't got to the new pandemic, which Bill Gates has been warning you about, because he's a new modern day Nostradamus, right? He knows he's just the modern day prophet from the Most High who knows all these events that's to come, right? So yeah, they want to roll out universal basic income, and I told you what that was going to be for. I'm not going to go into depth on that. You want to know more about that? Check out my last report. Okay. Projected COVID-19 mutation in or co-infection with secondary virus, referred to as COVID-21, leading to a third wave with much higher mortality rate and rate of infection, expected by February 2021. And we got Omicron at the end of 2021, right? So these things are probably a couple months delayed, right? So I think we're going to be seeing this. As the months get closer, right? Now, going on to the bottom, it says transitioning of individuals into the universal basic income program, projected supply chain breakdowns, inventory shortages, large economic instability. Remember, this was put out October the 10th, 2020, right? Don't forget. All right. Deployment of military personnel onto major metropolitan areas, as well as a major roadways to establish travel checkpoints, restrict travel and movement. The Bible talked about that as well, right? I went over that in my third report. Check that out. So yes, they're coming for us right here. They're not playing around. Let's see. Along with the provided roadmap, the Strategic Planning Committee was asked to design an effective way of transitioning Canadians to meet an unprecedented economic endeavor, one that would change the face of Canada and forever alter the lives of Canadians. What we were told was that in order to offset what was essentially an economic collapse on an international scale, that the federal government was going to offer Canadians a total debt relief. This is how it works. The federal government will offer to eliminate all personal debts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, etc., which all funding will be provided to Canada by the IMF under what will become known as the World Debt Reset Program. All right, the World Debt Reset Program. Remember that. It's probably not going to be called that. It's going to probably be called something along that lines, but right here they have it as the World Debt Reset Program. In exchange, right, for acceptance of this total debt forgiveness, the individual will forfeit ownership of any and all property and assets forever. Do you hear that? The individual will also have to agree to partake in the COVID-19/COVID-21 vaccination schedule, which will provide the individual with unrestricted travel in unrestricted living, even under a full lockdown, through the use of photo identification referred to as the Canadian Health Pass. So digital ID, right? The COVID pass. They're going to combine all these things together. And those who have taken the vaccination are the mark of the beast, which the new one will be, the new vaccination will be the mark of the beast under the guise of stopping this new disease. It will be actually killing people. So, they're going to be able to justify these lies, right? But I'm telling you now, it's going to be a lie, right? Committee members asked who will become the owner of the forfeited property and assets in that scenario, and what would happen to lenders or financial institutions. We were simply told the World Debt Reset Program will handle all of the details, end quote. Several committee members also questioned what will happen to individuals if they refuse to participate in the World Debt Reset Program or the Health Pass or the vaccination, right? Schedule. And the answer we got was very troubling. Essentially, we were told it was our duty to make sure we came up with a plan to ensure that would never happen. We were told it was in the individual's best interest. That's what they're telling you about this vax, right? It's in your best interest to get vaccinated, right? To protect your fellow man, which the vaccination does not do. It does not stop transmissions of the virus, right? So you're not protecting shit. Anyway, let's keep going. We were told it was our duty to make sure we came up with a plan to ensure that would never happen. We were told it was in the individual's best interest to participate. When several committee members pushed relentlessly to get an answer, we were told that those who refused would first live under the lockdown restrictions indefinitely. Do you hear that? And that over a short period of time, as more Canadians transition into the debt forgiveness program, the ones who refuse to participate will be deemed a public safety risk, of course, and will be relocated into isolation facilities. Once in those facilities, they will be given two options: participate in the debt forgiveness program and be released, or stay indefinitely in the isolation facility or the quarantine / concentration / prison, whatever word you want to use. They're all synonymous. Camps, right? You can stay indefinitely in the isolation camp under the classification of a serious public health risk and have all their assets seized. So, right there, it says right here, those who do participate in the program, right here at the top, will have all their property taken, right? And those who do not those who do not will have their assets taken. So whether you participate in the program or not, they have plans to take your stuff away from you, right? And again, on my last report, I went over this. So this is lining up to be what their plans are going to do. These world global leaders of ours, these ones who have your best interest in heart. Don't believe me on that. They definitely have your best interest. Can't you tell? All right, guys, this is a video clip from the 80s, right? From, I guess, a TV show or a music group in the 80s, right? Now, check it out, because this is the end game right here. And this is the 80s, by the way.
As his plan for replacing cash, checks, and credit cards with new personalized 666 barcode system were implemented, peace and order began to be re-established. Now, in tonight's program, our great world leader unveils stage 2 of his plan for the perfect world.
So they're talking about the health passports. They're talking about, the global leader right here. His plan, the global leader, which will be the Antichrist, to usher in, the new world order, right? That no cash, none of that will be there in this new world order. You see the CBDC, central bank digital currency. We went over this ad nauseum. Check out my last reports. Let's keep going.
The amazing new 666 biochip implant, guaranteeing you physical health and spiritual well-being at the punch of a computer key, plus the guarantee of lifelong security. within the new 666 world order.
Watch out for 666. Watch out for 666.
In a vision of the future, I saw in a vivid dream that the hour is soon coming when men will become machines. A new one world order will rise and then demand that all the world's people receive their scientific brand. I saw a tiny pre-programmed computer chip so thin, implanted in men's foreheads underneath their skin, linking all its bearers to the system's central brain. The master computer that over them will reign. Watch out for 666 and their computer chip that is designed to strip you on your self-control. Don't sell your soul. Men's thoughts will be programmed by this new technology. Those who take the number, their slaves will always be. So hearken to this warning, if it's life or love you choose, then you'll follow the truth, and that mark you will refuse. Watch out for 666 and their computer chip that is designed to strip you of your self-control. Watch out for 666 and their computer chip that is designed to strip you of your self-control. Don't sell your soul. Don't sell your soul. Watch out for 666. No!
So as you see right there, they came to his house. They're gonna come to you. You're not safe anywhere. You think that you can just hide in your house and it's never gonna come to you. You're in for a world of trouble, right? Because you saw at the end how they came to his house, knocking on the door, saying, "Hey, time to get your 666 mark of the beast chip." And he closed the door in their face, and how they busted the door down and drawed the guns. They pulled the guns out, right? And so this is not some voluntary thing right here, right? If you don't take the chip, you're going to be a domestic terrorist. You're going to be an enemy of the devil, and they're going to kill you, right? Just like the Bible said that it was going to do, right? They talked about how men will become machines, right? And the whole world took the chip, the chip so thin, right? And they implanted the chip in the forehead and connected to the AI system. Okay, and their thoughts will be programmed, and they'll always be a slave. You see that, and this was in the 80s. They told you this was coming. See, this has been planned a long time. I showed you back a couple videos ago the cover, the Economist cover in 1980s. Showed you the get ready for a one world currency, and it showed the Phoenix standing on top of all the world's money burning up, and then the Phoenix was wearing the new cryptocurrency. They told you all of these things way back in the 80s. This is the end game right here. This is the end game. And I'm doing my best to warn you guys of what's to come. Because these things are not, again, years away. We're living in these moments right now. And you don't have long to get ready for these events, because the time is literally at hand. So guys, that's gonna do it for the video for the day, for the report for the day. If you like the report, like and subscribe to the channel. And also share this video with your friends and family. Share it. Wake them up to the realities that we're witnessing right now. Because again, we just simply don't have a lot of time, guys. So until the next report, my brothers and sisters of Israel and citizens of the world, I'm making these reports for the citizens of the world, so you can see that, who's controlling the world, so you can come out of the world and come to the Most High and when His Son Jesus Christ, right? Because without that, and you're just gonna be a product of the world, you're never gonna know the truth. So till the next report, guys, I love you all. I hope that the Most High blesses you and your home and your people. In the name of the Most High, Yah, and His Son, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, I pray that you all stay safe. Till then, Shalom.